Hi, everyone. Welcome back to WorkTech. There is some really big M&A news on the market today. HireVue announced the acquisition of ModernHire, two leading companies that cross so many categories in our space, and we'll get into all of that. But we're joined today by Amanda Hahn, the CMO of HireVue, to talk about the deal. Welcome, Amanda.
Thanks, George. Thanks for having me. Yes,
Of
it's a
course.
very exciting day.
Yeah, congrats
Thank
on
you.
this. It's big news. It
Thank
really
you.
is.
Thank you.
And it's a deal that makes a lot of sense to me for many reasons. But before we get into that, for anyone that doesn't know you or doesn't know HireVue, can we start with just some quick intros about yourself and sort of a quick 30,000 foot overview on HireVue?
Yeah, sure. So Amanda Hahn, I've been the CMO at HireVue here and with HireVue for about 10 years now. And have spent my whole career in this industry that I just love. I actually came from the hiring side myself. So, things around making improvements in hiring and making hiring fairer. And it's where I started really, really, really long ago when I was just a teenager in the space. So I'm really excited for today. HireVue started about 20 years ago. It was founded by Mark Newman and as a video interviewing provider, the leading video interviewing provider in the space. And then we sort of grew organically in developing the industry's first AI-based assessment product. And over the years, we've acquired sort of game-based assessment technology and then automation through the acquisition of Alio just a couple of years ago. So now with adding ModernHire to the mix of that, we're incredibly excited to welcome the team as well as the ability to create, a platform for any organization to be able to bring more science-backed fairness into their hiring process.
Yeah. So let's talk about the deal a little bit. How I'm always curious how deals come about, and what was happening that brought this deal to the table, and what was going on in the market or in either shop. So how did it all happen?
Yeah. So it's funny. There are some of us who have been at HireVue for a really long time now that are so excited and almost can't believe that this day came because these conversations started almost 7 years ago.
Wow.
There was always this feeling that there's something here that just makes sense. And this goes back to the days before ModernHire with the original team from Shaker, sort of understanding how they were thinking about revolutionizing and modernizing the assessment space. And there was a lot of synergy between the direction that they wanted to go and where we were looking. And the timing wasn't right then, but we've always sort of kept in touch. And there was always this feeling out there that this just made sense and it needs to happen eventually. So we're pinching ourselves and really, again, can't believe that the deal actually came through today. So again, combining Shaker and Montage together a few years ago to form ModernHire, and then they added the team from Sonru as well. There's just a fantastic group of folks and talent that is with the ModernHire team, as well as bringing some amazing technology to the table. But a ton of similarity, I think, was the big linchpin in the deal. The way that we both approach hiring, the way that we both approach having a scientifically based process in place, the way that we both approach sort of the modernization of the IO psychology space in general and thought leadership in that space and try bringing them along in the introduction of data science to that market. And then just the need to also bring, a fairer, more equitable process to hiring by infusing science. It was just so parallel. It's why we kept running into each other constantly on deals
Right.
all the time, and made really difficult selection decisions. We would always hear in the deal cycle, no, it was between you guys and ModernHire, and you have such solid solutions and you're both so similar. So we started listening to them as well and realizing, hey, maybe we should join forces because this could be really fantastic for all the companies that we support.
Yeah. I mean, 7 years, that's the definition of playing the long game, right? Like, just, keeping your eye on the market and, that higher view. And I would say another similarity with the folks at ModernHire, thoughtful, right? Very,
a great word.
looking long term, not a short term game that you're playing here. So, but 7 years, that's a long time.
It really is, but you're absolutely right. Thoughtful, such a great word to describe people like Mike Hootie and Ken Lottie and Eric Seidel on their sides, and the other talented people on the leadership team and the rest of the team at Modern Hire. It's a great word to describe them. They definitely emulate that.
Yeah, and HireVue too. Let's not forget HireVue. So, and I mentioned you cover so many categories and between the two of you, and I think you are both coexisting in most, if not all, of these: video interviewing or digital interviewing, AI-driven assessments, traditional assessments, virtual job tryouts, scheduling automation, conversational AI, and text-based engagement. I usually don't have to look at notes to talk about what a tech provider does, but that's some breadth in offering. And how do you, it's early, so I know that's always the first part of the answer to this question, but how are folks viewing the product offering, or what's the early view on that, if any?
Yes, it's definitely the early view from our customers, right? Which we would fully expect, which is great to hear. That's exactly the kind of response we want from them. So as we've had early dialogue with our customers over the past 12 hours, that's what they're looking for. Like, we'd love to be able to see fill in blank from solution from HireVue, solution from Modern Hire. And what we're really excited about is what you guys are going to do together. So we've communicated to them that we're going to be on a pretty quick timeline. We'd like to get to like a high level synergy within the first 30 to 60 days. And then, within the first 100 days, really be able to come back to our customers with a combined strategy, a combined roadmap, a combined vision. Again, it's a little bit easier for us to do and think about because there's so much synergy around vision and mission. So we know the kind of world we want to create and how we're going to create it. We also have a really crazy overlapping set of values too. So both companies, the teams all show up the same way. And so it makes that process, we can be really aggressive about that process because it makes it a lot easier when it's sort of similar and you've got overlapping at that high level.
Yeah. And talking about, the synergies, what does the customer base look like now that the, post IPO, how many customers, what's the makeup, or what do you know so far?
I do. So I've done some analysis of some of our numbers. They're really great. So we have just over 1,100 customers combined. We service just over 60% of the Fortune 100. So a lot of really great global brands and logos on both sides. A lot of focus on all of the industries really combined, but Modern Hire certainly had strength in healthcare. Both had strength in the retail space and helping companies, especially over the last couple of years, really with high volume hiring challenges, footprint in the financial industry and financial space. And then, of course, on the HireVue side, we've been working with the US public sector now for the federal government for about 4 or 5 years. So 8 of the largest 10 federal agencies in the US use HireVue. So yeah, it's pretty great and impressive. We were really surprised actually there's not as much overlap on the customer base. And I think that goes back to the dogfight from before, HireVue and Modern Hire showing up for every single one of these deals before because of the synergies and similarities between the two companies. So we're really excited by the opportunity to introduce customers on both sides to the combined solution set now, because there wasn't as much overlap as I think we had suspected that there might be.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you mentioned the early feedback from customers. So far, it's been positive on both sides. You're hearing good things.
We're hearing terrific things. Yes. One of our customers, we talked to a couple of our key customers just a couple of hours earlier yesterday, late in the day. And one of the ones I got a chance to talk to said, wow, that was a really good idea. And so I thought, well, that's fantastic. Thanks for the validation. I'm glad you think it was a good idea too. We think it was a terrific idea also. So it's really great to hear that again, just a ton of excitement. One of our customers just happens to be at an offsite this week. So their entire HR team is together. And evidently the news is all abuzz. It just happens to be one of those overlapping customers. They couldn't be more excited. They're already planning. And they want to set up a call with us when they're done with their offsite, because they're going to come out, I'm sure, with a complete plan for us and what they want to do together. So that was really exciting to hear.
That's cool. And I think there are three constituencies I always think of. One is the customers, and the second one is sort of broad. It's the market at large. And I guess I feel like there's a topic I know you're very passionate about, and it's AI and ethical AI. And I know that both sides have invested a lot. You've been like lately, the conversation's been overtaken because of ChatGPT and large language models, but that's just another flavor. And you've been working with AI probably as long or longer than anyone. So yeah, what does the future look like around AI? Maybe this has less to do with the deal as it does, how you're thinking about AI and, regulations and ethics, but I think it would be great for everyone to hear about that.
Yeah, sure. No, I mean, obviously it's been a big focus of ours since we started 7 years ago and focusing on, applying AI and algorithms to the hiring process, but doing it in a way that's grounded and has a foundation in IO psychology. That was the key for us. That we don't do this unless it's those two combined together. Let's take the power of what technology has given us on the AI side, but we've already got the structure and the science and the foundation to be able to leverage to make it right. So, and again, the Modern Hire team, exactly the same path, exactly the same plan. So we were showing up in a lot of similar conversations too, especially with legislative bodies that are now looking to bring legislation to their states, or even the teams at the federal level we've had conversations with as well. Just looking for insights, because both of us now have so much practical experience in helping customers bring really good science-backed, AI-backed methods to their hiring practices, and just doing a little general education as well on just how hiring works within organizations, and being able to stand up for our customers and speak for them in these kinds of forums to make sure that not only were we bringing really good solutions to the table for them, but then we're also bringing really good solutions to the table for their ultimate customer, and that's candidates. So building things with transparency first for candidates, and building things with with a lot of that transparency sort of right in the front of the process. So what's most exciting for me, bringing it back to the deal, is that both of us were working in parallel with these, and now we can combine those efforts. The talents, the amazing talents of the folks on both sides, and their passion for doing this work, and work together to help bring a collective voice to this really big dialogue right now, to say, look, there's a lot of goodness here. We've got to make sure that the guardrails are in place, and a lot of that already exists. We have really good sort of rules and regulations and policies in place already. We've got a foundation in IO psychology. So all we need to do is craft legislation now for the new world that we're in, that allows companies and candidates and vendors to benefit across the board.
Yeah. It's such a powerful thing to from two voices to one voice and be a market leader. And you've got a lot of customers to speak on behalf of, close to 1,200 customers. That's a lot. And you've got more experience and insight into these issues than most vendors who are just sort of jumping into the pool at this point and figuring it out. So I'll look forward to that. Look forward to the more leadership. I know you've put out some good papers on ethics, and I've appreciated those in the past too. So
thanks, George. We appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a little bit of a road, but I think we're finally getting to a point where we've got good clarity. We're getting into the details, which is the good news. Now we're not there's not a lot of confusion at the high level. So we're doing things like, making sure that when during the New York hearing process, making sure that the legislators in New York City sort of knew at the high level what we were doing. And then we sort of got agreement there that, okay, now everybody understands what's going on. And let's start to click into some of the details. So things like hiring algorithms actually shouldn't be learning algorithms. You automatically think that algorithms are learning bodies all the time. So they're always digesting information and they're always learning. But the EEOC actually says that you can't have a process that treats candidates differently. So you couldn't apply a learning algorithm in that case,
Right.
right? Everything's static and locked so that everybody gets treated the same way. So once we have the ability to sort of dive into examples like that, it really pushes the conversation further really quickly, which has been really great. So now that everybody involved is sort of understands at the highest level what needs to happen, then we can dig into the details and really be able to make an impact and push things forward.
Yeah. Yeah. So the third constituency is employees. I try not to leave them out. What does this mean for employees? How will this impact them?
Yeah. So it was a really exciting day today, that I'll say. There's just tons of excitement on both sides. Obviously, I know the HireVue team, the best, but I've had a chance to get to interact with a lot of the folks from Modern Hire over the past couple of months, and then deeper into the teams over the past couple of weeks. And they just bring some amazing talent to the table, folks that I mentioned before. And so we're really excited to have them join the HireVue team and to be able to, again, forward as a combined organization. So yeah, a lot of excitement this week, which is so great to see.
I'll bet. And, it's a secret many of you have been keeping, I'm sure, for a very long time. Not 7 years, but long.
We have, I know, public apologies to all of my friends that I was with and my industry buddies at Unleashed last week that I couldn't tell them. It was so hard to keep the secret from you. I love you all.
No, everybody understands.
Yeah.
And I know everybody's excited about this deal too. So, so one last question for you. What's the best way for everyone to keep up on the future of, this new HireVue with Modern Hire, and, what's the best way?
Yeah, so our homepage, HireVue.com, ModernHire.com has lots of resources and links. We actually have a landing page. It's HireVue.com/ModernHire. So a handful of assets that are out there. A really good video from our CEO, Anthony Reynolds, especially for customers, for things that the things that they'll be looking forward to, our press release, a blog post, and then there's a little bit of Q&A in there, which we're going to be adding to as we start to get additional questions from customers in the market or candidates. So I would direct folks to that page, and then anybody's always happy to reach out to me as well. You can find me on LinkedIn.
Cool. And I'll link to that page here in the notes and in the article. So
That'll be great.
no one will have to go looking too far for it. Thank you so much, Amanda. This was congratulations again.
Thanks, George.
It's it's a huge deal. It's like a market shifting kind of deal. And I'm excited to see what's next.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. We're so happy to have all the validation from the market that's dropped today. We're so thankful for the HR community and the HR technology community that we're a part of. And yeah, we're excited to get going.
That's great. And thanks everyone for watching or listening. And until next time.